Hello, welcome to this exciting session on data quality. Today we are joined by our founder and CEO, Sharad Varshney. So excited to have you here, Sharad. Welcome to this LinkedIn
Thank,
Live.
thank you,
Um,
Gautham,
so
and it's always a privilege.
So, in this session, we'll be talking about why data quality is so important. It has always been very important, but now it has become even more important. And we'll also look at the various data quality frameworks and how you can actually go about implementing data quality. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat option to drop in your questions, and we'll take as many questions as possible. To get us started, Sharad, so why do you think data quality is so important right now?
I think the main accelerator for the data quality being important is AI. So if you put anything into AI which is not a good quality, you will get anything out which is not the AI model will not be good. And it's very critical at this point of juncture because a lot of innovation is happening in the AI space. And although there's LLMs, it's just a start point. So as a new model will come into the market, people will trying to all the different companies will trying to leverage these different new models. For them, before that, any other technology innovation happen doesn't need any raw information, and this the AI technology will need data. And if your data is not high quality, is not well organized, and then what you will feed into this AI is the garbage data, and then you will get our garbage. So it's critical because if you will not leverage this data correctly, then what will happen if your competitor have high quality data, then they will be able to take their advantage and they will be offered lower pricing. And it's a matter of survival, the data quality at this point of time. Especially because in the next 5 years, the data quality is even going to be way more important than it is today, because people will realize the value of high quality data. So the time of improving the data quality is now, because otherwise the bus will be kind of you will have a lot of it takes a long time to catch on different things. You're on mute, Gautam.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just saying that that makes a lot of sense, especially in the current AI revolution. But do you think we can put a dollar value to data quality? And because, how do you justify it to the leadership?
Um, it's a difficult thing to put a real dollar amount of your bad quality data, but I think the dollar value is dependent upon that how do you leverage it. So right now the avenue of leveraging of the data is analytics. So how much analytics you can do and what the outcome you can get for in order to whatever the business process you want to improve, right? So it is dependent upon the business processes to business processes, what business process you want to improve, or for that, how you want to leverage the data for, and then you can put the dollar amount to it. As a very high level, there is an IBM study which says $3 trillion is the overall economy, impact of the data quality. But there is a Gartner study which says about $15 million for every company they're losing because of they're not able to do the data quality. But these are very abstract numbers, putting somewhere. But uh, going right now, we can say this is a foundational principles. It's a very hard to put a value on the foundation of any. If you're building a building, for example, and say, hey, what is the dollar amount for foundation? It's like it's a foundation. You have to build it, otherwise, building will not be stable. So any data infrastructure you create on top of data, it's just not going to work. Whether it's a AI or whether it's analytics or whether it's the reporting. Right now, the reporting is always there on top of data with the analytics and the AI. Right, those are the basically the value which you're going to create from the data. So data quality is so foundational layer that it's that's why it's a basic component of the data structure in terms of the dollar amount.
Absolutely. And there are many studies to support that as well, like you rightly pointed out. If you proactively fix a data issue, if it costs like $1, and let's say you postpone it, then it's going to cost $10, and you further postpone it, and that's going to cost you like $100. So I guess it's very important to include your data quality process in your data management itself, and kind of proactively take care of those issues so that you're saving a lot of money. So Sharad, switching gears, I know there are like so many tools that claim to solve data quality. You have data cleansing tools, data detection tools, governance tools. Can you talk a little bit more about the tools that are currently available in the market, and how do you go about choosing what's best for you?
So if you consider the data quality as a technical problem, then you can think about tools. And when you think about it is a holistic business and technical problem, then you're thinking about processes and tools, right? So I think that anywhere, if you see the data quality is just not about the technology problem, it is a altogether a business problem as well as technical problem. For example, if I have a if the some field is not filled, I can put a constraint there to make sure the field is filled with the right information. But what if I correct the incorrect data into it, right? And what if the data is also ever changing and I'm not changing it? For example, if I have a customer record, he changed the address. He's not going to tell us that he changed the address. But somehow, if I can fix that problem by proactively maybe inquiring the a global database somewhere which can change that value, that is where the you can proactively issue you can proactively solve that problem as well. So it depend upon the business case to business case, that what is the data quality problem and how you want to solve it. And again, I forgot the question you exactly asked. Can we go back to revisit the question?
Absolutely. So I was just trying to understand, there are so many tools in the market, like you have data cleansing tools, detection tools, governance tools. How do all these
Yes.
tools compare, and then what are your thoughts on that?
Yes. So now we can compare, as I say, business and technical. Now, from the business side, you need a business processes tool. So again, it's so you can go around, and then the data quality generally works in the manner of the business application creates data, right? Then the data is generally flows to ETL layers, transformation layer. It goes to the data warehouses or data lake, and after that consumed by AI or reporting or analytics, and then after that it's consumed by a lot of systems. So if we consider that a one cycle of that, there is a lot of problem which can happen from the source system to all the way to the AI or reporting model or somewhere. So if the data goes somewhere wrong inside the pipeline, you will need a one mechanism for fixing the data into pipeline. If the data is wrong itself at the source system, then you need a different ecosystem to manage the data, that why the data is getting originated itself is incorrect, like in the application layer. So for example, if you are in CRM, if your sales rep is not putting the right information into your CRM system, it's a data quality problem, but that can be fixed through the business processes. It has nothing to do with the technology, right? Now, if you go to the downstream in the data pipeline ecosystem, then there is a lot of tools which you need to do it in order to manage this. And then during the AI side, when you're consuming the data into it, you want to make sure that you're putting the data into the AI model or any analytics. You want to measure the data quality, you want to understand it. So there are, as the business process is changing, the tools are changing. So tools,
Mm,
we can put it into different categories. So one is the data cleansing tools, which is basically used to clean the data. It is like it is the investment you have to make because you couldn't make your data quality good. So you have to make sure you're improving the data. It's just by cleaning it up. So data
mhm,
cleansing tools are again, uh, it's a totally different dimensions of cleaning up. There is a lot of cleansing tools available in the market, but it focus only on the okay, the nulls are there, can I suggest some items which can fill the null? But you're making a lot of recommendation, you are cleaning it up, but you are actually messing up with the data, So it's a kind of a data transformation. So it have to be done by business people who understand it and who is like a self-service data cleansing tool, which is kind of an
Mhm.
ETL tool as well. But that is those kind of tools. Then the second level of the tools comes in the master data management category, where the data which is always changing all the time, like for example, customer data, vendor data, which is changing. But so how come we can have a central record of customers, or how can we have a central record of vendors, or whatever the master data you have it, and entire company is integrated with those central system, and then whenever the customer record they are looking for it, they go out and then look up this custom record from the central record, and then central record is managed and nicely managed, as well as regularly updated through various ecosystems. Suppose you like various campaign as well. Sometimes you might have seen that as soon as when I moved my house, I realized a lot of banks actually change my address automatically, because when they send the address to me, they got return address with my return address, and then they updated their system. So
Mhm.
they were able to update that information proactively before
Mhm.
I go and inform them. I was
Mhm.
they were able to communicate and then do that. So you can use some sort of a business process as well to keep your record current, but that comes under everything in the master data management category.
Mhm.
Then the third level of tool, which is generally is considered as an ecosystem to manage your data pipeline, to make sure that you can run your entire data quality ecosystem in that pipeline. So, for example, you can proactively see if you can write some sort of rules
Mhm.
to see that if the data quality is good, or the data coming into a pipeline is high quality or not. It's some sort of a business rule, some sort of a null value check, or some sort of a thing you can do right into that. And then you need to have a system to manage the data quality in the pipeline. So for example, let's say the file is not able to upload into the data quality system, then it can alert you that, hey, file is not able to upload, and then you can take the action. But the more
Mhm.
important part in this one is the business process workflow management. So, for example, if file is not able to upload, who is the people is going to be affected by it, and how can I
Mhm.
collaborate with them, the business
Mhm.
people? Because maybe the file is not able to upload in the source system, which is maybe SAP, for example.
Mhm.
But the impact of that can be in the AI model, which is running and calculating your inventory level, right? And that's maybe consumed by VP of supply chain, who's not even using the SAP system of that at all.
Mhm.
So those who are consuming the data, there are different people. The originating data is different people, and then
Mhm.
how the you can communicate and collaborate the business process to inform, to collaborate with them, to kind of tell that, hey, there is a data quality issues are there, as well as also the same ecosystem can also be managed in the reverse order, where it
Mhm.
says that the business people can complain about the data, and then it can also come to the technical side of the team. So kind of business and IT process management, the data flow. And then you need some tools, what do you call it, anomaly detection, which can
Mhm.
detect some sort of a data problems automatically,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
those are the various, I say, the kind of tools you can take that.
Got it. And I know we covered a lot. Just to quickly summarize, so you have data cleansing tools, you have data detection tools, and data governance tools. But I think we are approaching data quality holistically. It's many times it's about process. If you look at data cleansing or data detection tools, they are very modular. You're trying to solve one problem, detect that issue at that system, but often that's not the case. You want to go to the source and run the data quality rules closest to the source and as often as possible, so that you can fix it at the source and all the downstream objects are not going to get impacted. So if you go with a
Yes.
governance tool, it's going to be a much more collaborative approach, because you want to change the business process itself, involve all the stakeholders. Maybe the BI team needs to be involved, maybe the contact center team that actually takes the calls from the customer needs to get involved and make sure that the input is accurate. So I guess that's why governance really shines. And you need a holistic approach. That makes sense. And on that note, I do want to share a resource for all our audience here. OvalEdge has prepared a blog and an evaluation guide. We'll be posting that in the chat, but I'll also share my screen. and show you the document, so you'll be able to download it. Let me share my screen and go from there. Okay, this is a blog which you can go through. We'll be posting the link in the chat, but then you can also download this evaluation guide, which will help you assess different data quality vendors, some of the features. I mean, you can modify some of these features to suit your needs. But essentially, we are looking at does the tool support contextual workflow management, dimensions, collaborative workflows. So feel free to download this helpful resource. Okay, going back to our questions. So Sharad, while folks do that, do you have any thoughts on different data quality methodologies? Because you have the Dharma framework, you have the idea of proactive and reactive approach, and I think different companies and organizations follow different frameworks. What are your thoughts? Do you prefer one over the other?
I think there is a obviously there's a Dharma framework, which is the data quality improvement life cycle, which says identify, prioritize, find the root cause, and then fix the improve it and then control it. So which is a typical Six Sigma cycle as well to find any problem and then fix it, right? And then make sure you put a control into it. Then another framework, which is a progressive framework, which is designed by Teresa and Kik, which is mostly the, can you find the data which is, when you're consuming, is it fit for consumption? So you write your data quality rules and you make sure that it is fit, you're making sure that it's fit for consumption. And then you are proactively, as well as you can proactively, you know, uh, making the data quality rules, and if you are writing the data quality rules, so you're not letting in any of the data in the data pipeline. So this one is there, and then you are doing reactive maintenance of the data. So if anybody have reported any problem, how can you reactively fix the data into it? And then you have anomaly detection into it. So this generally she divided into 4 part of that. Again, every part have the methodology of this. But the main the objective of the both methodologies, and there are maybe other methodologies as well, is um, they focus on the problem and then its solution to it, right? And that solution should have the root cause, and going to the source and fixing the root cause is important. So both methodology focus on the root cause identification and fixing, as well as keeping the problem in context with the data. So for example, I can have a data quality problem reported in a system called Jira, for example. Everybody report the data quality problem. But that problem, if you report the data quality problem, then it's not contextual. Hey, I have this problem, I'm not able to see the report, blah, blah, blah. But if you put it in data catalog, for example, then this is contextual, because you know that this particular report have 20 issues. Hey, you better fix this problem, because 20 is way too many issues on a specific report. You're getting it right. So you found the root cause, you fixed it, but always you're getting so many issues on it. There is a further underlying root cause which you have to find and fix somewhere, right? So that's why contextual, keeping the contextual information is another component which every methodology must focus upon it. That's the kind of like a the both methodology do focus on it. But anywhere we are creating your own methodology, if you're fixing that, you need to focus on that part, that you keep the issues with the data, with the contextual information, and have ability to do the root cause analysis. Those are the two part I would kind of emphasize on any methodology you use.
Got you. Sharad, we do have some great questions in the chat, so we'll take some of those questions right now. Sudhanshu is asking, when is the optimal time to invest in data quality initiatives, such as during data collection, data processing, or data analysis? So this is the question.
So there is obviously when you're collecting the data and you're processing the data and then you're analyzing it. So this is the 3 phases of, I would say, the data transformation. the data quality initiative is run across the board, right? It's not like, okay, I need to do it only the during the data transformation layer. It is
Mhm.
across the board. So it's the initiative that every company need to have about the data quality. It's not even that, even though you're not doing any transformation. For example, you are only have a CRM system which you only deal with that. Even in that, the data quality team should see that all the different reporting you are asking and then have that. Is it legitimate or not? And are they able to serve the different data quality things, the governance side
Mhm.
of that? So the governance seems is not about just the transformation layer, but even in the individual application, the lot of data questions that people are answering individually in different applications should also be the come under the data quality purview, so that you can invest into it, because ultimately when you're going to consume the data, when the AI is going to come, ultimately the data is going to come these source systems, and then you're
Mhm.
going to consume it. If that data is not high quality, that whatever you do downstream is not going to make any sense. But obviously every company is big enough nowadays that even the smallest, like, of course not the restaurant, but if you have a major corporate enterprise company, then they do have a ETL layer, the transformation layer, the reporting layers, and then the the governance is all about holistic, from source to all the way to the target.
Mhm.
You have to consider your data quality issues.
Got it. Another question is from Anoop. He's asking, can you please suggest some useful KPIs from data quality perspective and how we measure them effectively? I think that's a great segue to our next module, which is about dimensions. So maybe you can tackle both of
Yes.
them. So, what are your thoughts on dimensions? And do you think they help us measure data quality?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is that when we want to improve something, we need to measure it. So how do we measure it, right? How do we measure data quality, which is very subjective term,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one way of measurement, which is Dama proposed, is dimension. I want to check its validity, its completeness, etc. So
Mm-hmm.
using the different dimension, I can check the quality of the data. That's one aspect of things. Another aspect which we have innovated is the data quality score.
Mm-hmm.
Just to We give a subjective score to a specific object, and then we just keep measuring that score. And again, the score is dependent upon how many issues it is having, what is the different rules, how the profiling information look like, which can give you some information from the dimension side. But also if the proactive rules are failing quite a bit, that means there's some underlying issues there. So that means the
Mm-hmm.
data quality score should come down. So it's a different mechanism of measurement, but that's the data quality score is another way. Dimension is another way of
Mm-hmm.
measurement. Um, um, Again, it's people's choice how do you want to measure it. But the
Mm-hmm.
main important part is the trend. You have to measure the data quality and understand by its trend whether you're going up or whether you're going down, whatever the formula you have selected to measure the data quality, so that you can actually measure by along. It's very difficult to measure by from your colleagues or from your different systems or a different
Mm.
part of things, but by measuring by itself is a good idea.
Got it. And I do want to take this opportunity to show off OvalEdge. So let me share my screen, and then I just want to show the data quality dashboard that OvalEdge supports. So let's see. Yes. So again, I'm currently on my OvalEdge instance where you can see data quality dashboard that Sharad was referring. As you can see, there are several dimensions. You have uniqueness, validity, and the data quality score trend itself. If it's trending upwards, then that means that your data quality program is working. And so get yourself a tool like OvalEdge, or ask for a demonstration with one of our sales engineers. So let me stop sharing. Okay, so moving on, Sharad, we'll also tackle a few other questions that we have. So let me go back there. So Baishali is asking, what role do emerging technologies like AI and machine learning play in automating data quality checks? I know OvalEdge has a lot of AI capabilities, and there are even more coming up in our roadmap. But can you comment on this?
It's a very good question. And then as the AI is emerging, you can check the data quality. You can check whether this is a good quality data or not. You can do anomaly detection using AI. You can find some sort of a pattern in the data, whether this data is a good quality or basically automatically checking the data. But it have to be always assessed with the human, because AI. So some places I saw that, hey, you can find the data quality problem with the AI, you can fix the data quality problem with the AI as well. That is not going to happen, because that is not a good idea. Because if you find the problem, you fix the problem as well. That means the data itself is the foundation for something, and if you can found the problem and fix it as well, both through AI is not going to work. So there is what we need is a human in loop always.
Mm.
So, but there is a lot more innovation is happening into detecting the data quality problem, right? Earlier it used to be rule based, that you can write your rules. Now this rule is going to let the above AI, when the AI will figure out some sort of a rule by itself and tell you there is some problem exists here. You go and find the problem. It will give you the some sort of a problem as well. Hey, the trend of the data, the score is everywhere is it should be in the normal distribution, but it's not in normal distribution. It used to be, and now suddenly it's not, right? So
Hmm.
those kind of things, the AI is very good at recognizing the data quality problems, upfront into that. So there is innovation is happening. We are doing quite a bit innovation in OvalEdge as well,
Hmm.
to do the anomaly detection, to write the data quality rules automatically, by recognizing the pattern of the data and write the rules itself. But again, when the rule fails, then the alert goes to the human, and the human takes action on it. That what to take action, whether they create a ticket or it goes to Jira system or somewhere, and people can take action to it.
Gotcha. And yeah, for me, like OvalEdge is more like a social media platform for data. You have all these cool technologies and capabilities, but you still need people to interact and communicate with each other. So I totally get what you're saying. So let's look at another question from Kimberly. I have read that data preparation takes 70 to 80% of the time in developing AI models. What quality issues cause the most trouble when trying to use data to train AI systems, and how can they be addressed?
So that's where I'm telling that um, you need to get your data AI ready, because as you say, the 70-80% time you're spending, like, this is fact, people spend on preparing the data, making sure the data is basically cleaning up the data, merging from one system to another system, and putting into all together and combining things and getting the data ready for AI model. So if you see, the most of the time, the data scientists, they're not data scientists as much, they're data engineer. They're moving the data from here, and they're massaging it, they're combining two three things, and basically ultimately adding it to their model. And the model, you don't put a good quality data, nothing comes out good. Now
Mhm.
in that space is the investment is required, is the implementing the data quality improvement life cycle overall into it. What it means that you implement like the data is there, and you are not even writing any new model, but you spend on the data quality. You make your data AI ready, means you catalog your data, you make sure the data which is creating it is a high quality data. Another word which is creating is create data products, which is like, okay, this data is a good data, it can be consumed by AI, and I'm creating this as a data product, and I will make sure that the quality in the data is high quality, and I have, say, hundreds of data sources or hundreds of data in my source. I'm making these five things which is available as a data product, and I will make sure this is good. So there are various naming conventions are used in industry to make sure the data is good and AI ready, and that's the data products is one of them. Or you can call them as AI ready data, or you can call whatever you want to call. But the objective here is that ensuring the data is nicely cataloged, because sometimes the metadata quality is equally more important than the data quality itself,
Mhm.
right? If we cannot describe what exactly it is, then how do we find what exactly it is, right? So data quality is a basically the second step in the data governance. First thing is the metadata quality. Like, we know the metrics, what it is, what exactly is trying to explain that particular thing, and then the data in that is exactly the formula what is telling the metadata they should use the same formula, etc. Like, for example, if I have a credit score, if I do not
Mm-hmm.
know the meaning of the credit score, then how, what is good? Otherwise, a number 693 or 720, right? You need to know the metadata around it, like what is the data, what is the credit score, and how to interpret that credit score. Then only I can understand the data quality of it is. So, for example, a person have a very good mortgage record, paying record, but the data quality, but the score is still coming low. So that means that when the business person can understand that, hey, this is a credit score, but it's still low, but all other things are looking good. So that means there's some sort of data quality issue in that specific problem. So I think that those are the things which you have to make sure that you are making your data available for AI, and not so that you spend less time on data preparation, etc. So you're basically dividing the work into the AI readiness work, which is the most of the time you're getting the data ready. And then after that, you are spending less time. Instead of 70 to 80% time, you probably spend 30% time on massaging the data and getting the AI ready. And it's the why it is important that now, because let's say there's only one data scientist which is trying to do, that's easier. But if you have going forward, if you're going to have 10 data scientists who are going to work on different business models, and they're all going to consume the same data, at that time it is data with the data products, and this one is a more important, because now everybody is consuming the same data and everybody's spending 70 to 80% time. It's too much wastage of the time that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for that answer, Sharad. Again, please keep posting your questions. We still have a good amount of time, so we'll be able to answer many of your questions. Let's move to another question. How can we delegate and train quality management in the data mesh paradigm? Are data owners and stewards full-time roles in the banking sector? Can we use data catalog tools plugged in and cloud streaming? Are there any risks?
Very good question. The data mesh program, as you say, about the data product is generally the outcome of the data mesh program. So data mesh paradigm. So it's the same methodology, basically. The data owners, data stewards is a full-time role. And I think no, it is not a full-time role. It should be the part-time role. And most of the business analysts who is consuming the data should be the data stewards. When you make this as a full-time, then they become the curator. They basically arrange the knowledge and something. So it have to be the part-time. That's why you have to change the culture of the company. And also the investment is less when you make it part-time, because everybody who's consuming the data are also collaborating in the data governance program overall, right? And then the next question is, can we use the data catalog tools plugged into the cloud streaming? Yes, there is a cloud streaming systems like Kafka's and something, so you can use those. But also when the data is going to the cloud, whether it's Azure or AWS or Snowflakes, anything it's going into it, you have to put your data catalog from cloud to the source system, which is maybe on-prem or maybe in the cloud as well. So the data catalog is a tool which can take because it can give you the comprehensive. Otherwise, tools in the cloud can only support the data in cloud, while tool in on-prem can only support on-prem, while catalog can take you both. It can connect the dots from source to the target into that. So are there any risk? Risk means, are there any security risk, which I am understanding is. That's basically the component of the data catalog, is that it connects to the source, but mostly keep at the metadata level. It does not connect to the data. Like OvalEdge, we do not store the data, we do not connect to the data, we only keep it the metadata level. So that way we can minimize the risk to quite a bit higher level, right? So there is no data, like you're not exposing the data, you're only keeping the metadata level to understand that part. So that's where you are minimizing your risk. But there is always some risk when you're connecting to the data. There is from the security perspective, as you are working towards, whether it's a Snowflake or something. Now the cyber security is a altogether different paradigm, which you have to invest into, making sure that you invest enough in the cyber security program to do that. But that's a different paradigm altogether.
Got it. So just to quickly summarize, what you're saying is that you don't necessarily need a full-time role. You can start small, start part-time, and also if you use a governance solution that is scalable and progressive like OvalEdge, then you'll be able to turn on and off the modules based on your need, right? So that you don't have heavy investment and you can quickly show ROI. So yeah, thank you for that, Sharad. So let's look at in other questions. How can companies make sure their data quality meets the requirements of modern data governance? So I guess that's the agenda for this session. So any comments on that?
So I think when you say the modern data governance, what do you mean by is from the compliance perspective, right? Um, uh, the, so the data governance have multiple aspects. So when we say data governance, what we're saying is that how do we define the data? Basically our data governance program, so that data is compliant. So that means people are getting the reporting and everything is the data is getting the right data, as well as our internal people who are getting the data is high quality part of that. So what we consider at OvalEdge is the data governance program have three aspects to it. One is the data intelligence, which is data cataloging, ensuring the metadata is good quality. Another one is the data quality program, which is improves the quality of the data over the period of time, obviously. And third one is the privacy and access control, so that making sure that it's comply with all the PII privacy laws, different laws in the country, in the world, and then making sure they establishing the control in places so that only the right people can see the right data at the right time. Right? So those are the three ways I would say the modern data governance work is with three paradigm of that, and implement holistically so that you can have a complete, so that not only that, again say the data quality, you cannot do only data quality unless you improve the metadata quality. That comes through data intelligence program. So you have data intelligence, data quality, and privacy and data access control as in modern data governance.
Got it. And also, just to follow up on that, when you talk about data governance, it's so large and the goals and everything, objectives, they vary. So I guess when you're talking about data quality, it's kind of important to understand what does data governance mean for you as an organization and what are your priorities, and then how do you actually align data quality to meet those requirements, because I think no two people agree on the definition of data governance, which is such a
Yes.
tragedy because you're trying to govern the data itself, but you can't even agree upon what it means. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
just
one of the
my.
program in the data intelligence, which is the business glossary, the objective
Yeah.
of that is really to come up with the consistent definition of KPI, metrics, etc. Right? But the data governance itself, we do not like everybody do not agree on the exact definition of the data governance.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think Rohit had a similar question on that. How does data quality relate to GDPR, CCPA? So my understanding is that it's not like limited to a particular compliance or regulatory requirement. It's more about how you want to define it and then what. But maybe you'll explain it better, Sharath. I'll leave it to you.
So there are two kind of compliances. The GDPR CCPA is the privacy compliances, and there is other regulatory compliance like BCBS 239, which is a banking compliance, right? So the banking compliance have a mandate to make sure that you report the data. It have to be perfect, accurate, right? The data quality means the data which you are reporting is accurate, right? That is the key to them. Like say for example, if a buyer, because the Fed is going to decide the interest rate based on different banking's performance. If they do not find the bank's performance correct, then because the data is not accurate, based on that they cannot figure out. So they created the law because of the 2008 financial crisis. They realized the bank was not reporting the right information to them. So that's why they created the law, right? So that is the most important from that compliance. From the privacy compliance point of view, which is the CCPA and GDPR, there are some reporting requirements of the CCPA, and there are some requirement which you have to establish in the company. So with the reporting requirements, like are there, there the data quality have to be accurate. Like whatever you are reporting is have to be right. So and then that comes under data quality. But otherwise, the things like I want to identify the PII data, how much PII data we contains, right? That is itself is a classification problem. Data class, you classify the data into different aspects, and then you report that. Now, if your classification is wrong, then it is a data quality problem, right? So it's just kind of like mix and match somewhere in that way.
Got it. So it all starts with classification, and having AI capabilities to classification really expedites your data quality, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And I do want to ask one of my questions. This is something that I get in demonstrations from, many prospects. So that is like, where do you actually apply the data quality rules? Do you want to do it on your data warehouse, or like, how do you go about it? What are your thoughts on that, Sharad?
So I think you want to apply close to the source. The
Hmm.
problem happens that because of the technology support, the source, for example, is SAP, or the close source is, say, your Salesforce. The problem is that they do not give you the ability to apply the rules into the Salesforce or something. So you have to buy another tool for doing this, right? While if you bring the data to, let's say, in data warehouse, and then after that you transform and do it, and then after that you take it. Now the data warehouse already have a lot of processing power and all those things to run all these rules easily. So at a cheaper price point. So
Hmm.
you can use this capability as soon as you bring data from source to some sort of a staging environment in data warehouse or something. Applying rule is a way that is close to the source when we can identify the problem, but also is cheaper from a processing power point of view, that you do not have to take this. Suppose the API cost of a Salesforce, or this is very, very high to run a compute power on Salesforce versus
Hmm.
on, say, Snowflake or Databricks is much more cheaper there. So
Hmm.
that's why I think it's a balance problem. Like mostly data governance professional will say, hey, put it exactly to the source, but it's expensive. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that, hey, run in data warehouse, but close to the source, so that it's cheaper from the IT standpoint of view. Because it's a waste of money. You're running the data quality rules to never fail. Right? Idea is that it should not fail, right? So
Hmm.
that you not find the problem. So it's a money which is just going to the like you're running every day to make sure the data doesn't come. Data is not bad, right? Um, so if suppose your data is good managed nicely, that the program is working, then this money is just wasted.
Mm, got it. Makes sense.
Yeah,
So save
that's yeah.
money by
Mhm.
running it on your data warehouse, but also try to be close to your source. And
Close
I
to the
know
source.
that
Yeah.
one thing that we do suggest at OvalEdge is to having replication servers and running data quality rules on that, so that you are minimizing the impact on your business, right? So
Yes, that is
any comments on?
also provided the you do have replication server for source application, which is not cloud based. Like for example,
Mhm.
you have a source application which runs on some sort of a database, and you can run on the replication server of that, because it's sitting idle, it's doing nothing. At that time,
Mhm.
you can use that replication server to run those data quality rules, and it's a smart move to kind of save the money from the IT infrastructure because it's doing nothing, actually sitting idle.
Got you.
Yeah.
Another question, Sharad, is about data quality on unstructured data, because we see that I think anywhere like 80% of the data is unstructured, like in videos, files. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So I think the data quality on unstructured data is a complex paradigm. Like for example, when we talk about data quality on documents, when the data quality, so then that means we are talking about the content of the data quality, whether it is, that means we are talking about the authenticity of this, whether it's a legitimate or not. So for example, Google, you search something on Google, I can guarantee the 60% of information is inaccurate there. It does not represent the fact, but
Mm-hmm.
people just believe because that's the only thing available, right? Because everything is come from unstructured data, and it's not proven by anybody. Even a lot of things is chat gpt suggests is not accurate, because the only accurate information can be the journals which is published by scientific journal and then it's been peer reviewed, right? Those are the things which you can consider as a good information. Otherwise, a lot of things are, face social media, everything is coming out unstructured data and feeding on top of that and top of that and top of that. It's coming is a bad data quality. Now, how do we improve the unstructured data? It, again, there is no technology right now to find that. It have to be done through the business processes, and the
Mm-hmm.
business process is dependent upon the like how do you make sure that the data itself is relevant, is coming from the right source. So the lineage is very important in that way. The metadata becomes important in order to assess the data quality of unstructured data, because we don't know whether this document is right or wrong, because there's no way you can analyze and inform. You cannot do that right now with the current technology as of today. So the only way you can assess it is through the its metadata, and understanding the metadata, whether the metadata is good, accurate, and what the business process you are putting it on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Well, thank you so much, Sharad. I think we covered so much today in the past 50 minutes, but I think just a quick summary. We started with why data quality is more important than ever. We looked at some of the data quality frameworks, the dimensions, how OvalEdge can actually measure the data quality. We looked at the AI possibilities, the current capabilities, and what's in the future. We also looked at how to actually implement data quality. You can start small, choose a progressive approach. So that's a lot of ideas. So I would like to thank all our viewers for joining us today. I had great fun hosting. Hopefully everyone felt the same way too. I would also encourage all of you to follow OvalEdge and check out all our blogs so that you can stay updated. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Sharad, and everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.